Hey guys, welcome to a slightly different video than normal. This is going to be an experiment video. Now, I've never done an experiment before and probably never will after this, but I feel this one was too good to not do. Plus, I wanted to find it out myself, and that is just how much better Leicester are now on the official winter update from Sports Interactive for FM16. In case you're not aware, I'm recording this on Friday the 4th of March 2016, and the new update from SI has dropped today. Now, of course, that includes all the transfer updates, not just from Europe, but around the world. So China has all its, superstars now. And also, one of the main sort of features as well is either performance upgrades or, in some players' cases, downgrades. However, we're going to focus on the upgrades here, in particular that of Leicester. Now, they have had some amazing upgrades. Just to give you an idea, some of their players now are just unreal. So let's just have a look. Just the values first. Jamie Vardy, £24 million. He was probably worth like £24,000 on like FM 2008 or something, or whatever it was. Danny Drinkwater, £22.5 million. N'Golo Kante, £24 million. It's absolutely astonishing. And let's have a look at Marco Brighton, £10.5 million. He was washed up at Aston Villa and he was going nowhere. Now look at him, it's amazing. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to sim this season and maybe a few more seasons and find out just how much they've improved, and maybe even replicate what's happening in real life, and maybe they can challenge for the title at minimum top 4. Now, I should just point out for context, on my saves, the saves that I've played so far, more often than not, Leicester do end back down in the Championship. I've got to the 20s several times now, and Leicester, more often than not, are fighting for their lives in the Championship at that point as well. They're a very average team, and I'm sure if you look at a few other saves on Football Manager on YouTube, there will more often than not be similar circumstances there. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to fast forward a few months and just see how good they are, and see if indeed they are challenging for the title, and maybe if they've even brought in some new players. I'm going to fast forward now. I'll see you in a second. We are back, and it is now currently the 28th of December 2015. It's around about the halfway mark, or just over it. And this is how the Premier League table looks now. Of course, this is just one save. Everything could be different on your save, but there are a few similarities and things like that in this save compared to real life. For example, Aston Villa, rock bottom, fair enough. We've also got, let's see, well, Chelsea in 7th, that's not far away, but Leicester are in 8th. That's why we're here, of course. And interestingly, they've lost 8 games. Now, in real life, as of recording this, I think they've lost 2 games, and that was against Arsenal and Liverpool. So that is quite interesting. Let's have a look at the team then. So Claudio Ranieri is still there, and it doesn't look like they've actually brought anyone. Let me just double check the transfers, just in case who wants to do it. They've brought one player in. Oh, sorry, there's one player that's gone out, and that's Jack Barmy, and he's gone on loan to Chesterfield. Other than that, they've had quite a few injuries, to be fair. Gökhan Inler, let's see how he is injured for 2 weeks. Jeffrey Schlupp is out for a week. Matty James is out for 2 weeks and 2 months, and N'Golo Kante is suspended currently. Let's have a look then at the goals. So, incidentally, Kramaric there, who's on loan, he's been banging them in for Hoffenheim. That is quite funny. Jamie Vardy has 10. Okazaki has 7. And then you're down to Joe with 4. Mahrez, you could probably expect perhaps a few more goals from Mahrez. He's only got 3. Same as Schlupp. Average rating-wise, it has gone down to Schlupp as well, which is no surprise. I actually saw him at Anfield about a season or 2 ago. He ripped us apart. It was the 2-2 draw. Gerrard scored 2 penalties. It was in his final season. And I was very impressed with this guy, I've got to say. Christian Fuchs also near the top, where's Morgan and Danny Drinkwater. So it's about, yes, it sounds about right if you compare the sort of stats and the value, and you put all of it together, and it looks about right. But perhaps you could make a claim that Leicester are underperforming. They're only 10 points off the top, and I know it sounds like a lot, but really, if that was real life, you'd be pretty happy with that being 10 points off the top. Incidentally, Arsenal, of course, are top at the moment. It's not February yet, so we'll let things be with that. Manchester United in 2nd, and then, look at that, 2nd to 5th. In fact, I was going to say to 6th. There's 2 points in it. It's an extremely tight league. Leicester, they put a few wins together. They're right up there. So it's all to play for, but Yeah, I think Leicester certainly have been improved. They're probably not as improved as much as you think, but I think that's about where Leicester will finish next season. If I'm going to give my personal opinion for a moment, that does look about right for next season. Hopefully. I say hopefully. Maybe not Manchester United being in second, but there's plenty left to do. So we're going to sim the rest of the season now and see how Leicester get on there. I'll join you in a second. We are back at the end of the season then. So this is May 2016 and that is how the league table looks. So Manchester City topping it with Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool, Tottenham, Chelsea, West Ham and then Leicester. So that's quite interesting really, that Leicester have managed to finish on a negative goal difference, thus missing out on the European spots. We've got West Brom, Villa and Bournemouth going down. Incidentally, you can see the top goal scorer and look who's at number 3, Jamie Vardy. But other than that, there doesn't seem to be much in the way of happiness for Leicester. We'll just check and see how they've got on in the other cup competitions as well. They were knocked out, in fact, of the third round of the FA Cup by Brentford, and they got knocked out of the Capital One Cup by Southampton. So it's not been great for them really in the cup competitions. And as you can see, like any time they've tried to get a bit of a run going, like that 3 games, they go on a bit of a bad run. Wow, that's actually quite bad. But if you look here, let's have a look at any famous wins. Doesn't appear to be. It beat Chelsea 2-1, which is pretty good. They beat Arsenal 3-2. Let's see, I think that's it. So, in fact, that's not even, it hasn't loaded the full time for some reason. Let's try that one again. I have absolutely no idea why it's done that. Let's try it this time. There we go. We got the full fixtures there in the end. They beat Liverpool 3-1, Spurs 3-1. Any more? I think that's it really. So interesting enough season for Leicester. 8th position. It will possibly give them a bit of a boost next year. Obviously a lot of money will come in now because of course this is 2015-16 season, the current season. They will retain quite a lot of money from all the TV deals and everything, so I'll be very intrigued to see where they are in about 12 months time, which is exactly where we're going to go now. Well, one more thing actually before we do check Leicester, we do just want to check the goals once again and general average rating. So Kramaric there finishing top goal scorer unofficially obviously, or whilst he's on loan. Jamie Vardy with 19, Okazaki with 11, Mahrez, that's a bit more like it from him, 8 goals, and then Schlupp and Schlupp on 5 and then Kante on 3. So all in all, not a bad season for Leicester. I'd maybe say that's around about where you'd expect them to be for this time, but now obviously the big money is going to start coming into it. I'm very interested to see how they get on at the end of the 2016-17 season. So we'll go there now, and I'll see you in a second once it's all simmed. And here we are again. So 1 year has gone, and well, Leicester 1 year later in 11th. So they've actually gone down, and I think the Tinkerman is still there. Indeed, Ranieri still there. No particularly big changes, but really, considering Leicester, you know, for the title and all that, in real life, 11th is not great. The top 4 really just isn't changing, and that's to be surprised. City again winning it. Stoke, bizarrely, quite high. I mean, that's not really bizarrely, I mean, they're doing very well. But certainly getting in that Europa League spot. West Ham as expected as well. But Watford appear to be the beneficiaries at the moment, but that is to be expected as well, considering Miles is a Watford fan and all that. Hint, hint. But yeah, Leicester, 15 wins, but also 15 defeats. I mean, if you have a look at some of the wins there, no wins particularly stand out. But if you look, it's all the big teams. It's the ones above them. Look, City, United, Liverpool, does United twice, Tottenham, Stoke, even a 1-0 defeat at Norwich, who got relegated. So it's not really good for Leicester there. I mean, it's only a few points in it. I mean, again, just a few points away from a Europa League spot. So they're nearly there. You do get the sense that perhaps if they were to make some signings, in fact, let's have a look. Have they made any more signings here? Well, a lot of players have been released. They brought in Victor Moses, Willy Caballero, and Escudero. So, yeah, that's a slightly strange one. Ulloa also went, and Vasilevsky has also gone for basically nothing. And yeah, sort of kind of underwhelming really at the moment. Leicester, very strange indeed. We'll just have one other look as well while we're here at their team. So Okazaki and Vardy, 12 goals apiece. They've also brought back Kramaric, I think is how you say it. Kante with 7 goals and Mahrez with 5. So it's kind of, underwhelming, I think was the word I used. We'll stick with that. because incidentally we've had a lot of sort of sackings and everything. Also, we'll check. Man City have done the double, so they've retained the Premier League. So we'll just, in fact, we forgot to have a look. I'll do that now at Leicester's performance in the cup. So we'll have a look at that now as well. We've got, let's see, sorry, that's the wrong one. Let's try that one again. Let's see. So they've got through to the semi-finals of the Capital One Cup, and they lost in the semis to Manchester United and got all the way to the 6th round of the FA Cup before losing out to Watford. So again, yeah, they went through this very barren spell. Look at that, just one win in like a 6-week period or something there. Goodness me. The end is quite well though, so I can't criticise them too much. But yeah, look at that. Played Man United twice in the space of a week. That's not good, is it? So underwhelming, I think was the word I used, and we're going to stick with it. Aguero top goal scorer, Lukaku, and Kevin Volland now, who's at Chelsea apparently. So we're going to fast forward now a little bit more into the future. We're probably going to do one more advancement. However, I'll put this into 2020 because, as I say, that is the time when usually Leicester really do begin to fall away on most FM saves. I do think that is going to change. I don't think they're going to fall away. I do think Leicester are going to be permanent Premier League fixtures, at least for a considerable amount of time. We'll get that confirmed as we zoom over to 2020 and we review the last few years. And here we are then, we're into May 2020. Fast forward it now, we have a few seasons to look at. Now, obviously, I can't look at some of the more in-depth things such as stats and things on the old season, but what we can do is look at the table, and as you can see, it's another okay-ish mid-table finish for Leicester. What have they finished on here? They finished on 47 points. Again, quite grouped up. It's very interesting, but still, well, not still, a mile off the European spot this year. I mean, that is a very competitive league, I must say. Who's falling out here? So Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United falling out there, but Bristol City also getting in. But if you look, just not many great. I mean, the 3-2 victory over Manchester United, yes, but it's not particularly great news really. But they, of course, went to Old Trafford, as you can see there, and lost 4-1 amongst other teams. But did it get better? Well, kind of 10th. I want to say kind of, but I mean 50 points. Which again is decent, but still 14 points off the European spot. You may also notice that Tottenham have indeed won the league. They're 1 point ahead of Manchester City, which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's. I think what this says to me is that Leicester are now inexplicably a mid-table team, according to Sports Interactive, at least. Certainly far better than they were on the old save. The boost has helped, most definitely. Now if we look finally into the current season, so 19-20, and as you can see, Leicester have fallen as far down as 13th. I actually had a little cheeky look before, I don't know why it was cheeky, but I had a look at the table in about February, March, and Leicester were, well, yeah, let's be honest here, they were battling relegation. They finish on, 44 points, 11 ahead of Burnley there, who have been relegated. So not particularly impressive. Now we're going to have a look at the squad here. So as you can see there is, so it is basically mid-table, give or take. But Marcelino is now the manager, 54-year-old Spanish person here. Who was he? He's played for Levante and Sporting, but let's have a look at his achievements. So he's current manager, apparently, of Villarreal, and has managed Sevilla, Racing Santander, Zaragoza, and Racing again, and Recreativo. But now he's gone to Leicester, so Wes Morgan is still the captain. He's 36 now. Christian Fuchs is there. Riyad Mahrez is also still there, 29 years old. Let's have a look. Who else is still there? Is Jamie Vardy there? Yes, he is. He's got 14 goals. That's not bad. Let's have a look. I noticed they've also got Fabio Borini. Let's have a look then. So we saw he got 12 that previous season. He got 11 the next. He then got 13 and 14. So that's actually his best return since the first season we started this experiment. So that is quite interesting. Borini, yes, is also there. That guy, I'm not even going to attempt to say his name, Danny Drinkwater's there. He's now still worth just under £20 million. Even as a 30-year-old. Kante is still there, £22 million. So the value is sort of typically English somehow in that they're overvalued, but they're not, whilst being sort of average, kind of. Here's Demarai Gray, he's still there. Has he developed? Not really. He's certainly been better. I mean, I had him on FM16 at Derby, and he was superb. I'd say he looks to be distinctly average, to tell you the truth. Who else is here? Robin McNulty. I feel like I know him somewhere. No, he's a regen. I'm probably thinking of the Portsmouth player. They've got Stephen Colker. Ben Chilwell is still there. And yeah, so Marco Brighton, let's see, has he fallen away a little bit? Let's have a look. Kind of, 8.25 million if you look at his value. I mean, let's have a look at the performances. Average rating, yeah, kind of peaked in the second season, has been on a kind of downward slope, although it's weird because individually a lot of players seem to be performing at their best since, well, second or third season really, but Leicester as a team have fallen away quite considerably. We'll just check the history, make sure there is no winners here. Let me just make sure they haven't won the Capital One Cup. That doesn't look like it. Any history? No, they're not there. So past winners, were they in the final? No, QPR got to the final. There you can see the ones highlighted in green. No, it's Tottenham got the double, but no winners for Leicester. So obviously no FA Cup either. Community Shields in 1971. So no trophy win. So that is kind of disappointing, but at the same time they are now an improvement. It's fair to say Leicester City are an improvement over the old one on the previous version. Are they still underpowered though? That could be a claim to make. They're not challenging for the title, they are just distinctly mid-table. Does that sound fair? Write the comments below and let me know. So there you go guys, if you want to know how Leicester are in the new update of FM, they're alright. Not more than that really. They're not going to go down, but they're not really going to challenge for Europe. There's a possibility if you know, they bring in a decent manager possibly in the future, maybe they make a fluke signing or they have an amazing regen come through. But at the start at least, they're going to probably be around, give or take, mid-table. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.